Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Misa Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Blasts from area of military airport shake Syrian capital. McCann ends 81-year journey with burial at Naval Academy. And moving on to our details, starting with the violence in Syria. A string of powerful blasts from the direction of a military airport in Damascus lit up the skies and shook the capital city in the early morning hours on Sunday. The explosions were seen and heard coming from the direction of the Meza airport southwest of the capital. The state-run Al-Ikhbariya TV station reported that the explosions did not come from inside the airport but from a nearby munitions depot, adding that an electrical short circuit was to blame. However, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the explosions came from inside the Meza air base, adding that they were likely caused by an Israeli missile strike. On to Sana'a, hundreds of demonstrators protesting against Yemen's deteriorating economic situation, weakening currency, blocked major roads and burned tires in the southern city of Aden on Sunday, with shops and government offices closing. Soaring prices have put some basic commodities out of reach for many Yemenis as the central bank has struggled to pay public sector salaries on which many depend as foreign exchange reserves dwindle. Athens' usually bustling markets were empty on Sunday after the coordinating council of the General Confederation of Thousand Workers' Unions called for civil disobedience. Moreover, there were reports of smaller protests in nearby municipalities. And going to Africa, at least 6 people were killed, including 2 children, after a suicide bomber detonated an explosives-laden vehicle outside the district headquarters in Somalia's capital. Authorities on Sunday said the bomber tried to speed through a checkpoint but was stopped by security forces, prompting him to detonate the vehicle near the gate of Hawal Wadag district headquarters. In addition, Mogadishu mayor's spokesman said the 3 soldiers who stopped the truck were killed instantly and the 3 others killed were civilians, while 14 people, including 6 children, need intensive care. Meanwhile, the Al-Qaeda-linked extremist group Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack. On the other side of the world, John McCain is being laid to rest at the U.S. Naval Academy after a 5-day procession that served as the final call to arms for a nation he warned could lose its civility and sense of shared purpose. The private ceremony in Annapolis, Maryland was as carefully planned as the rest of McCain's farewell tour, which began in Arizona after he died on August 25th from brain cancer and stretched to Washington. From another perspective, McCain picked his burial location to be the historic site overlooking the Severn River over the grandeur of Arlington National Cemetery, where his father and grandfather, both admirals, were buried. Meanwhile, 2 recreational boats collided head-on Saturday in a stretch of the Colorado River marking the California border with Arizona that was crowded with people enjoying the Labor Day weekend, sinking 1 boat and leaving 13 people injured, according to what authorities said. The crash happened in Mobay Regional Park, a popular water recreation area along the border about 290 miles east of Los Angeles, leaving another 2 people missing and presumed submerged. Spokesman for the San Bernardino County Fire District said 1 person sustained life-threatening injuries and was transported to University Medical Center in Las Vegas. On to the Brexit profile, Britain's Prime Minister has again spoken out against calls for a second referendum on Britain's decision to split with the European Union. Theresa May wrote in the Sunday Telegraph that it would be a gross betrayal of our democracy to have another vote. She also said millions came out to have their say in the June 2016 vote that set Brexit in motion. This came after her government faced increasingly strident calls for another vote once the terms of Britain's future relations with the EU are known. From another aspect, Britain is expected to leave the EU in March and enter a transition phase. And finally, Russians held rallies throughout the country on Sunday to protest the government plan to raise the age for receiving state pensions. Several thousand people gathered in central Moscow for a protest organized by the Communist Party. Another Moscow protest organized by the Asia Russia Party attracted about 1,500 people. Other demonstrations were reported in at least a dozen cities throughout the country, but no arrests were immediately reported. It's worth mentioning that President Vladimir Putin last week considered that the pension age for women will be raised only to 60 rather than the proposed 63, while the current pension age for women is 55. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Blasts from area of military airport shake Syrian capital. Meccan ends 81-year journey with burial at Naval Academy. And this was the end of our Misa Bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.